Hello, and welcome to the FM podcast. I'm Jen Fritz, and I run Fritz Media, a music publicity and digital marketing firm located in Vancouver, Canada. And this is episode number 48 of the podcast. So the topic of this week's show is keeping a positive mindset. And joining me on the show is Vancouver musician and all-around positive person, Beau Wheeler. Now, Beau and I had a great conversation about how hard it can be to stay positive as an artist in the music industry and how music helps them to overcome struggles in their life. It was a really great talk, and I hope you enjoy it. Here's my conversation with Beau Wheeler. Well, hello, Beau. How are you doing today?
Hey, Jen. So good. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you. It's an honor to have you be a part of the podcast. I love it. And I should mention that Fritz Media is currently working with you on a project promoting your latest single, Flying Colors, which is the title track from your new album, which just came out on June 2nd. Very exciting.
Very exciting. Very exciting. The honor is mine. I've been wanting to, you've been on my mind for many years to work with, and I am so thrilled to be able to be a part of something with you. You're such a rock star.
Thank you.
It's just amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, before we kind of get to like the new music, as you mentioned, we talked a long time ago, and you've been in the music industry for quite some time. Yeah. Before we get to all that, let's go back to the beginning. How did you get your start in music? How did it all start?
How did it all begin? I come from a musical family. My grandpa played piano with Nat King Cole, Sammy Davis Jr., Lena Horne, stuff like that. So my mom and her sisters were fantastic singers. My mom wanted to be a singer, but she wasn't encouraged to follow that path by my grandfather because it was real, like the 50s and 60s jazz clubs were a rough and tumble scene back then. Mm-hmm. So she wasn't encouraged to become a professional musician, but she has a pro quality ear. And I grew up with she sang with us, she used to drive around in her 70s muscle car. She's only 5 feet tall, looking through the steering wheel. She had a pillow behind her, pillow underneath. She's still looking through the steering wheel, singing songs. We just crank the tunes, and my sister and I would just in the back seat with no seat belts because it's the 80s, singing at the top of our lungs. We just always sang. And for me, I just was just attracted to all things musical. My grandfather died before any of my cousins and I came on the scene, but my grandmother remarried, and my grandfather through my life had like a rumpus room that had a Hammond organ and a drum kit and all this musical stuff. And I would always get in trouble. I was always on the drum kit and that's, so it's just from the beginning, we just always had music around and music in the kitchen. And
that's nice. What a nice supportive environment to grow up in. So I guess when you wanted to pursue a career in music, your family was not like, what the hell are you doing? Or were they?
Well, I actually had something that I think was kind of difficult going along, but a gift in the end. I had one parent who was like, you should, I'd really love it if you were a doctor. And the other one, that was like, I tried my best to be a doctor. I was in the sciences. And then my mom was just like, you're so unhappy. Just go to music school. This is ridiculous.
Isn't it, man?
And that sounds very privileged. And it was. I was very lucky to have support. My mom still is a huge support of mine. But I think it's really great for an artist to have something to rebel against and support. So I think it keeps you fired up, basically.
Yeah.
So I think in the, when I was younger, I was just a little weirdo, and in my family, even it was just like, I was, it takes a long time to develop into an artist. You still have to work against a lot of pushback and nerves and all of those kinds of things. And, but I think that it's just something that I love so much. I couldn't keep my hands off of it.
That's nice. Well, I mean, that's generally, you have to kind of why people work in music, or I mean, pursue a career in music is just because they love it so much. You have to love it, I think, to continue, which kind of brings us to the topic for this week's show, which is keeping a positive mindset in this crazy business of music. And I really wanted to talk to you about this just because you are like really one of the most positive people that I have ever met in the music business. And like just in general, you're just a very positive, you have a very positive vibe to you, which
really means
I very much enjoy.
That means a lot coming from you, Jen.
Thanks.
Thank you. No, I just feel really grateful. Sorry, I cut you off on your question though. What was your question?
No, it's okay. You can say whatever you want, man.
Yeah, I just feel really, really grateful to be able to be doing music, like it's a thing that you have to continually choose to do all through your life. You have to choose it because it has its difficulties, but it also, there are things that are much more difficult than this. It's also a real privilege.
Yeah. Perspective, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That is good to keep perspective. That's kind of one of the tips for keeping a positive mindset. I wonder though, like, I guess let's go back to like the question I was going to ask. I mean, meeting people that are positive in this industry can be rare because I know it's an industry that keeps people down. I'm wondering, just like outside of music, have you always sort of had this disposition in yourself? Like, have you always just sort of been a like glass half full sort of person, or is it just something that you became, like you just decided?
I think it's something that it was modeled. I saw it in my mom, like, but also I think it's a choice. I think sometimes people meet me and they think I'm a bit of like a goof or a nerd or whatever. But really I've had a lot of challenges in my life that have been real challenges.
Yeah.
And I think that like, I just think that like, it's a choice basically to be happy. I mean, you have to dream things in order for them to come to fruition. Like you have to believe you can do something in order for it to happen. It's just kind of like, I work with a lot of youth with music, and like, if it's the same in music, like if you want to blow away the first row in a stadium, you have to bust through the back wall. If you want to break a board in karate, I don't know anything about martial arts, but basically you have to look through the board. You can't look at it. You have to push your energy way past what you think needs to be done in order to do something. And I think that like I had a background in like sports and stuff like that. And I think it really helped me going along. I mean, it was tough for me because I was a little kid in the 80s, grow up like, female assigned at birth, and I was on all the boys teams. So there was always pushback for me. So I basically just couldn't be anybody else.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a choice, and I just had to cheer my own self on. So I guess that's where it comes from.
No, that makes a whole lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I mean, I've been a runner my whole life, and I think that a lot of my drive and belief in self comes from that, just because I'm very goal setting and goal oriented in that way, and belief that you can do something. And once you do it, you're like, oh, I did do that. That's pretty awesome that I did that. Right. So,
and you have, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I've admired your work in this industry for a very, very long time, and not very many people like hang on as long as we have.
No, it's true.
And it's true. And it becomes a small community, and those people are real special people. Like it's really nice to have those people, count them as friends.
Aw, that's nice. And you're being so nice to me, Beau. Yeah. I love this. Oh my gosh. Now, you said that your new single Flying Colors, which is the title track from the new album, is a comeback song. And you wrote it about like going through your treatment for cancer and, thinking about when you could play music again. Wondering if you can maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I went through like 2 years of treatment when I was considered quite young, my mid to late 30s. Mm-hmm. I have always written, like from when I was like 13 years old. I have written songs consistently. I have books and books of songwriting from the very beginning. I have every single song that I've ever written, and I never have stopped. I've always performed.
Yeah.
I've always found a way, and I had to take I had to take a break from performing because I did 2 years of treatment. So I was staying at my mom's house and I basically just had a ukulele in her bed. And I just was like, this song was just like, the gift of cancer is that it really, all the people that I talk to, they're like, yeah, you're going to go back to your normal life. You're going to be fine. But the thing is that it does change you. It makes you really, really appreciate life as you go forward. And that's something that you don't lose. And I think that I was dreaming of a time where I could be back out there with all my friends playing music and amongst the people that love music at shows and like all of that. And I was just dreaming. That was the one thing where I was like, if I get a chance to like get through all this crap, that's what I want to have a time in my life that I can do and enjoy. And so it basically also was like, it was just a comeback song for me. It was just for me to cheer my own self on. And then I started playing it once I started coming back and playing again. And it seemed to really resonate with people now that it's being released in the time after the pandemic. It's just like really striking a chord with people because it's something that everyone kind of needs right now. And I think that like even people that are even not, music isn't part of their life, I think there's something really powerfully positive about music that can connect people right away.
Yeah.
And really, after the pandemic, everybody feels a little jostled, a little afraid, a little disconnected from all of those just fun people that you don't see all of the time. And it's like summer camp. It can bring you together in like in moments. And I'm noticing this song is doing that.
Yeah.
And also it's super gay.
Which we love. Yes.
Which we love. Yeah, it's also about just not, during the pandemic, I came out as trans because I was living alone and I realized I'm sitting by myself worrying about what other people think about me. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why am I doing that? So there's a part in that song that talks about breaking through glass ceilings and just being yourself.
Yeah, which can be hard to do. And it is a very big, powerful decision to make, but you have to live your truth, right? So
you do.
Yeah.
You do.
So, creating music and promoting it and just all of it, everything that comes with, right from the start, making the music to promoting it, all of that can be very stressful for musicians. Like any creative industry, there's more people that are probably struggling to survive than those that are like at the top, Not everyone's Beyonce, right? Mm-hmm. So it can be very, very hard to stay positive, just faced with that, like to continue making music, to continue writing songs. Do you have any suggestions on how to get through that so, that you are able to continue to create and to tour and perform all of it?
Absolutely. I think that I really think that it's an artist's job to keep themselves inspired and to play. So I believe in working really, really hard, but as an artist, you have to be enjoying your music. You have to be inspired by your music. Otherwise, how is it going to inspire anybody else? It's just not.
Yeah.
You have to constantly be on the lookout for new books, film, music, anything, experiences in life that are going to inspire you and keep you lit up, because it can't come it's not an external thing. It comes from yourself, and you have to light your own fire, I think. And the fun thing is if you love it, it's just doing more stuff that you love.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like, it's all, Nina Simone said it was like an artist's job to mirror back the culture to itself. And it's generally the people that don't really fit in that have this particular perspective that's kind of an outsider's perspective, an other perspective. And sometimes I think the things that can make life difficult can really be your superpower in music.
Yeah.
And it's seeing it that way. It's seeing it that okay, these challenges, maybe I'm not fitting in. Maybe in life, these things aren't going all that great for me. But whenever I have, if you play music, you have this incredible gift to be able to turn, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this podcast, but basically
you can swear. Yeah.
Songwriting to me is turning shit into gold.
Yeah.
Basically, it is like a type of alchemy that turns a horrid experience into something beautiful that may make somebody else out there feel like they're not alone.
Yeah, I do think that that's the power of art in general. And I mean, in my life, the thing that my entry point when I was younger was books and music and just, a curiosity for the world and also for other people's experiences other than my own, right? I think that, in general, you have to have that curiousness just about everything, right? But I mean, I think when people hear music and you hear a line that is something that you thought yourself and you are like, oh my God, especially when you're younger, that can be so powerful. You're just like, oh my God, I'm not alone. And then to be in a room full of people that feel that way, it's a very powerful experience for sure.
I agree, especially when you're young and also when you're older, because people get out of the practice. I was just sitting on a bench yesterday hearing somebody go by and he said, oh yeah, back in the 60s, every year was different. Songs were different every year. They're still like that. It's just that you have to put the effort into following new music in this time period as well, and not just rely on the nostalgia of stuff that you listened to when you were younger.
No, again, that comes with a curiosity, I guess, too.
Totally.
Yeah. And there's just so much, I think people just feel, I can't keep up, but but it's like, well, you also can't keep listening to Pearl Jam, all right? So maybe let's find something new here, guys.
Exactly.
Something that I like to, to tell artists that are feeling maybe a little bit defeated is to make sure to celebrate your wins, no matter how small, because I think that in a world of social media, we tend to compare where we're at with everybody else. And it's important to remember, that your journey is different from everybody else's. Do you have any tips for musicians that may be feeling like they're not getting anywhere and maybe want to pack it in? Any sage words of wisdom like mine?
Well, yeah, I think your words of wisdom are very sage. I think a while ago I felt, it depends on the climate of the music scene that you're in. Sometimes, I've found myself in fairly competitive music scenes, and I have a tendency I can be a competitive person. But I realized after a long period of time that we truly are running all of our own races, because you can see it even if one person sings the same song twice. It's impossible to sing a song the way anybody else ever did. This is what the British invasion was. It was little white guys from Europe trying to sing as well as Little Richard, which basically nobody can.
No.
Nobody can sing like a black queer man from the 1950s who's out and proud.
No, not going to happen, my friend.
Nobody ever has. Nobody ever has. And it's the cool thing about that is that you never have to worry that someone can take your place, because everyone has a completely unique voice. Your voice is actually made up of its own fingerprint of sine waves. That's why we can recognize each other's voices on the phone. It's impossible to do something like somebody else. So you're always running your own race. And you do always you get to a point, for me, I got to a point where I was like, wow, the things that I know how to do now they're unique to me, and I've had lifelong goals to get there. And now I feel like I may be the only, it sounds a little bit arrogant, but you do get to the place where you know your own path and your own vision and whether you're achieving what you would like to be achieving or not. And when you get to the place where nobody even really gets what you're doing anymore, it's not like this is cerebral music or anything like that, but you have your own personal unique experience and only you know that you've achieved something.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, you have to celebrate those things, and they are amazing, and things flow from those. When you do stuff that you really love and you're really happy about them, like this record, now I'm working with you.
Yay.
It's because I feel the most amazing about this record.
Well, yeah,
the most special record that I've ever made.
Well, it's an incredible record. I love it.
Yeah.
And, maybe just like wrapping things up a little bit, let's talk about your music. Let's talk about this record. You just released a new album, Flying Colors, and you were also just out on tour. How are things going with the whole album rollout so far?
Incredible. It's been absolutely dreamy. Maybe one of the best times in my life. I went on tour all through rural BC and Alberta, talking about what I like to call transiness to the elderly and small town populations. And I had a very warm response. I wondered about whether I would talk about those things, but before I went, I was like, this is what my music is about. This is who I am. And if they saw my picture, they're going to know that this is who's coming. So I'm just going to be myself. And I was incredibly warmly surprised to be, I think if you watch the news a lot, it makes you think that everybody out there is divided. But I really that wasn't my experience. And I think that there are mostly people are just kind. And I think that there's some things about transness that like just need to be explained in simple terms to people, that it's just really about a vernacular that allows people to treat people that don't fall into two categories kindly and with respect instead of making a joke out of them. That's all it is.
No, it's true.
It's not about religion, not about anything else.
It's very true. Yeah. I mean, I tell myself that all the time that, the people that are the loudest are not the majority. And people are mostly kind and maybe just not educated, or like if you're talking to old people, I'm sure they were like, what?
Well, I kind of was like, what am I going to say here? And what's relatable about this? And I thought, well, I can say what my experience was. I worked with queer youth for a long time. It's my favorite thing to do. And at the time, I was not out as trans and didn't really know much about pronouns and stuff like that. And there was a lot of youth that were like, hey, can you use these pronouns? And I was like, well, this is just bad grammar. I don't know if I can do this. And then, and then I realized like, oh, I really love these kids. And if this is going to make them feel loved by me, I'm going to frickin' do it. Like if this is going to make them feel good about themselves, I'm going to do that. And then I realized this applies to me.
Yeah.
And like, I wish I had this growing up. And then I started to realize like on this tour, the way I tried to describe it to people was like, you know what? Nature versus nurture. You could take care of kids and you could do your best to assert some sort of will upon them, but they have their own personalities. And some little female assigned at birth people like to ride skateboards or, play baseball. And some little male assigned at birth creatures like to bake. They like to do stuff like that. It's just about being respectful to those people and not making them feel bad about who they are.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not about God.
No, it is not about God.
It's just about being kind to every kind of person. That's all it is.
Yeah. Especially when I'm often like, this doesn't affect your life in any way. Mm-hmm. So if this other person is happy living their truth, then how does that affect you? I don't know.
And it's a beautiful time. It's a very difficult time we're living through, but it's also a really beautiful time. And I think that this next couple of years is going to be incredible for the arts. I think there's going to be such a flowering of the arts right now.
I really hope so.
I'm very excited to see what goes on.
I want to believe.
Yeah. We got this, Jen.
Let's do it. Oh, man. Yeah, I am tired of the transphobes and the homophobes. They can fuck right off, let me tell you. All right, so now is probably a really good time to head on over to our Fresh Content segment. Every week on the show, we discuss our favorite piece of music content for the week, and we always like to start with the guest. So, Beau, what do you got?
Okay. Well, I got a couple of things. I'm a big fan of Charlotte Cornfield. I don't know if you know of her. I do. Of course you do. The song off her new album that I really like is Cut and Dry. I've been a fan of hers. I heard that song she wrote, Andrew, on CBC while I was making spaghetti one night. It made me cry. And I was like, who the hell is this? She's so amazing. And so I really love that. I also, for like a more like well-known artists. I really love the new Boy Genius album. I like Emily, I'm Sorry. I love that song.
Oh, I like that record too.
Yeah,
it's so good.
it's so good. Yeah, so I think that lots of people know about that, but if you don't, definitely give it a listen, because I think that all three songwriters in that project are identified as queer. I could be wrong on that, but
yes, that is true.
yeah, and there's just this explosion of queer music right now that has always been there, but now is being supported in a new way that's really, really inspiring. And so have a listen.
Yeah. Listen, you guys, do it.
Yeah, come on. What about you, Jen? What are you into?
Well, let me tell you, my fresh content for the week is British rapper Little Simz. I don't know if you know her, but she just released a video for her single Gorilla, which is one of my favorite songs from last year. I was just obsessed with it. I love it. And the video just came out this week, and it is just, just eye candy. I can't remember the person that directed it, but which is probably bad, but whatever. Go watch it. It's on the YouTubes.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to check that out for sure.
You can look it up.
Awesome.
And I'll put a link to that and to Beau's fresh contents in the show notes for everybody, so you can enjoy it. And I guess that's about it. That's it. We're done.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen. You're such a pillar in the Vancouver music scene, Canadian music scene, worldwide music scene. I'm so honored to be here and to have the opportunity to work with you.
Aw, thank you. You really just pumped me up today, and I really appreciate that. Is there anything else you want to plug before we go?
I am singing with Queer as Funk to open Vancouver Pride on August 4th at the Commodore Ballroom. I'm very excited about that. I'm going to sing a couple of songs with them. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm playing a bunch of folk festivals. Come out and see me. Basically, just the best thing you can do is just come and introduce yourself to me. I love meeting people. Anyone who's into any of my music or anything, or even if you abhor it, come and say hi to me.
Hey, Beau, I hate your music. How are you?
I can take it.
See? That's because you keep a positive mindset. That's why.
I think it's working.
Okay. Have a good rest of your day. Jen. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was such a great talk. I really hope you liked it. And thanks again to Beau for coming on the show. Thanks so much for listening to the FM podcast. If you like the show, please tell your friends and give us a 5-star rating and review in Apple Podcasts. It really helps out the show. And as always, we'd appreciate it. The FM podcast is produced by Fritz Media with production assistance from Carla J. If you want to learn more about Fritz Media, just head over to our website at fritzmedia.ca. And if you want to learn more about the podcast, go to thefmpodcast.com. And as always, a big thank you to Said the Whale for providing the theme music for the show. Okay, so we're going to go out with our song of the week this week, which is, of course, from Beau Wheeler. This is the title track from their new album. Here's Flying Colors.
I'm coming back with flying colors. I'm gonna be there with all the others. And if you don't believe me, you can step aside. I guess you never seen somebody turn the tide. I'm coming back with flying colors. I'm gonna be there with all the others. I'm coming back with flying colors. I'm gonna be there with all the others. Listen to your heart if you can't see it in your myself around you anymore. Been smashing through glass ceilings since the day that I was born. If you wanna pick the roads, you gotta walk 'em on the floor. I'm coming back with flying colors. I'm gonna be there with all the others. I'm coming back with flying colors. I'm gonna be there with all the others. I'm coming back with flying colors. I'm gonna be there with all the others. I'm coming back with flying colors. I'm gonna be there with all the others. Listen to your heart if you can't see it in your mind. Watch me through the darkness, 'cause I'm gonna shine.
Bye. I'll see you next Tuesday.